Rama Bhakti Samrajam 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 Manavula Kavenu Rama Bhakti Samrajam Manavula Kavenu Rama Bhakti Samrajam Manavula Kavenu Rama Bhakti.
Hello and welcome back to Raaga Rasika. This is a podcast program that explores the world of Carnatic music. Joining us from Chennai, India is Vidya Subramanian. In the last episode, we were talking about the concept of Kalpanaswarams, and Vidya shared with us a few examples of how Kalpanaswarams are rendered. Today, we'd like to share with you a few snippets of Kalpanaswarams rendered by the legendary musician Sri G. N. Balasubramanian. Vidya, why don't you take it over from here and share with us more information about these snippets of Kalpanaswarams rendered by Sri G. N. Balasubramanian that we will be hearing.
Absolutely, I would love to do that, Devesh. Before we move on to the analysis of Sri GNB's rendition, let's pause and spend a minute to talk more about him. Sri GNB was a stalwart musician in every sense of the term. He had complete mastery over the various aspects of Carnatic music, such as the melody, the rhythm, and his concerts were highly creative and extremely engaging for the audience. And for these reasons, he was one of the most successful and well-respected performers of his day. And the snippet that we are going to hear today is his rendition of a composition of Annaswamy Shastri. The lyrics begin with the words Parama Pavani, and in the Raga Atana that we discussed a few episodes earlier, and it is set to Adi Talam. Let's first begin by listening to the Pallavi or opening segment of this composition. We just listened to Sri GNB's rendition of the Pallavi segment of this piece. Now let us move forward to his rendition of Kalpanaswarams. As we listen to Sri GNB's Kalpanaswaram rendition, you might have observed that Sri GNB and his accompanying violinist took turns performing the Kalpanaswaram. Another aspect that you might have observed is that the Kalpanaswarams were quite brief or short to begin with, and the rounds became progressively lengthier during the rendition. A very interesting and awe-inspiring aspect of Sri GNB's style of Kalpanaswaram rendition is the way in which he brings so much color and variety to the Kalpanaswaram's endings. For example, in this short snippet, there was just so much of contrast in the way each Kalpanaswaram was ended. And to highlight this, I'm just going to sing the endings of these different rounds of Kalpanaswarams.
Paramapavani Saravama Paramavani Vedani Dadani Paramavani Satani Paramavani Padani Paramavani.
Before we wrap up, I would like to highlight some technicalities that go hand in hand with the performance of Kalpanaswarams. The first and foremost thing that I would like to discuss is the importance of the starting point of the lyric or the eduppu when performing Kalpanaswarams. So every line of lyric in Carnatic music typically has a preset starting point in the thala. It could coincide with the beginning of the thala cycle, or it could be after the thala cycle starts, or occasionally the lyric may begin towards the end of the previous thala cycle. So there are many variants to this eduppu or starting point. So when a musician performs Kalpanaswaram, his goal is to time the ending of every round of Kalpanaswarams such that it flows seamlessly into the starting point of the lyric, both in terms of the melody and the rhythm. What I mean by the melodic aspect here is that the ending of the Kalpanaswaram should be done such that it can be linked skillfully to the melodic beginning of the lyric. Also, the thala should match perfectly such that the point at which the Kalpanaswaram ends immediately flows down to the point at which the lyric is supposed to begin, as in the song's original structure. There are numerous technical aspects that make these Kalpanaswarams hugely exciting for the performers as well as the listeners. To highlight a few, one such aspect is the weaving in of rhythmic calculations into the Kalpanaswarams. Again, how frequently this is done generally depends on the philosophy of the individual musician who is performing, but many musicians get great pleasure out of performing these calculations in a very spontaneous fashion. Another interesting technique in performing Kalpanaswarams is the incorporation of melodic patterns and sequences into the Kalpanaswarams. This very often happens as the Kalpanaswarams get lengthier. Sometimes the Kalpanaswarams are performed such that the melody flows with the beat in a very smooth fashion. This style is referred to as the Sarva Lagu style of Kalpanaswaram singing and is preferred by certain schools of music, and it has a very smooth and elegant style of Kalpanaswaram flow. Some musicians often use a particular note or sometimes more than one note as focal notes in their Kalpanaswarams. Very often the note that is picked is what is called the Jivaswaram or the life-giving note of that particular raga. And this note is used as a focal point around which musicians very skillfully weave many patterns which can become quite intricate and complex. Sometimes gait or gati variations may be made while performing Kalpanaswarams. And this is yet another interesting rhythmic exercise. Sometimes musicians also use some special techniques like the use of swaraksharams, where the swarams also have some lyrical meaning, and very often these are used to end the Kalpanaswarams. For example, a Kalpanaswaram could be ended with the swaram sada, and the word sada means forever. And so if that matches the lyrical meaning of the line of song that is to follow, that provides a very nice, colorful effect to the Kalpanaswarams. These were just a few of the techniques that I wanted to highlight as we discuss this very interesting concept of Kalpanaswaram performance.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Vidya. That's all the time we have for today. To learn more about Vidya, visit her online at vidyasubramanian.com. Write to us at www.raagarasika.com. Hope to see you next time. Till then, goodbye.
Bhakti